you try your best but you don't succeed, when you get what you want but not what you need.
Duchenne Foundation was founded in 2003 by parents wanting to raise awareness of Duchenne and improve the quality of life for those living with Duchenne muscular dystrophy across Australia. Duchenne muscular dystrophy is a progressive degenerative muscle wasting condition of which there is no cure. It affects 1 in 3,500 boys and in very rare cases 1 in 50 million girls.
When you love someone but it goes to waste, could it be worse? Lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you.
My name is Dominic Bianchi and I'm 24 years of age. When I was 10, they said a cure was around the corner. We are still waiting. In the meantime, young men like me need a good quality of life which doesn't come cheaply.
History shows us that our boys can pass away in the blink of an eye. How do we face a future without our sons? It's just too hard.
I don't like to think about the future. I just live every day as it comes.
Thinking back to the most challenging times that we've experienced as a family, one of those times was when Dominic stopped walking. We all want to put off that wheelchair moment because it truly signifies that our lives have changed and our sons' lives have changed forever.
It's hard to describe how Duchenne affects your family, but it's hard on everyone.
Looking back, I wish somebody had told us that the wheelchair isn't the monster. It's actually their freedom. It's their freedom to move and go, to keep up with their peers. It's actually respite from the struggle that they've had to walk. The other significant challenge we faced as a family was 18 months ago when Dominic lost the ability to eat. All of a sudden, he couldn't swallow, he couldn't breathe unassisted, he needed a ventilator 24/7. He had to have a tube inserted into his stomach so that at least he could get some nutrition to survive. It was a really tough time, and it still is.
I wouldn't be here today without my electric wheelchair and portable ventilator. I want to say to parents that are new to the Duchenne journey that their kids will be okay. I live a good life in spite of my disability. Their children will if given the chance.
Lights will guide you home.
Having two boys with Duchenne muscular dystrophy, it's difficult for both of them, but it's really hard for Thomas, the youngest one. I mean, he's only 7 years old and he already knows, what's going to happen to him as he gets older, and watching his big brother do it's just, it's scary for him, and that leads obviously to a lot of emotional issues with him and anxiety that really a 7-year-old boy shouldn't have to be dealing with. Yeah, the financial impact's huge. Joshua's now in a power wheelchair full time, which has resulted in us having to make changes to the family home. We get a small amount of government funding, but it certainly does not go anywhere towards what we actually need to be changing in the home. And then also now we need a new vehicle to accommodate two power wheelchairs in the future, having 2 boys with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. And that's just a huge cost and a huge burden.
David is 5 now. He was diagnosed when he was 18 months old.
The thing I remember at the day is how, what a dramatic impact it had on my wife.
I'd explain it as the worst day of my life. I still remember what I was doing, the phone call from the paediatrician, the emotions that followed, which was like a roller coaster of emotions. It was like grieving for a son that I still had, but grieving for what the future would hold for him.
Later on in that day, I remember looking at David. He was playing in the front lounge, and there was a light coming down on him, and he was just sitting there, and I was trying to look at him to try and work out what I'd missed, you know what. Sorry.
When you try your best,
So the biggest challenge is knowing what's ahead of him and what this insidious condition. What this condition has for him in the future. So that's probably the biggest challenge I find. My wife struggles with some other day-to-day stuff. She doesn't like the looks that she gets.
Yeah, community acceptance can be an issue sometimes when we're out and about.
The Duchenne Foundation do, that's really important work to get that out into the community. Like, I can't thank the people involved in that enough, and I can't underestimate the work they're doing enough, because until there is a public swell on these things like trials, medical trials, won't be successful. You know, we won't find new ways of making life better for our boys, because you know, they've got a hard road ahead of them, and they need all the help they can get. He's a happy little bloke with a lot of charisma and very determined fella. So I just hope when it gets to that stage that we have to tell him the news about what's going to happen to him, or when he comes to realise that his personality will shine through and help him deal with that. And I hope I have the strength to support him through that period, because that's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge.
lights will guide you home.
My name is Logan. I'm 13 years old and I have Duchenne Muscular Dystrophy.
It's very important to always have hope for the future. We've been told since Logan was diagnosed that the cure was coming, you know, that within 10 years there'd be a cure. So we're getting towards that 10 years now, and there's emerging therapies on the horizon. But while we wait for these therapies, we cannot lose sight of the fact that Logan has to have the best quality of life.
What I love about my mum is how she helps me and how she cares for me.
That's the surprising thing, is he's a really robust kid. So I think as a parent, the hardest thing, like I said before, is the hope. You know, being positive every day. So Duchenne Foundation support families with quality of life equipment, standing wheelchairs, cough assist machines, breathing machines, and other equipment that the children can use, swimming scooters and mobility scooters for getting around at school. So really, really important.
Some people say that I'm lucky that I have this chair, but I don't feel very lucky.
So we have some of the best researchers in the world, some of the best clinicians looking out for our kids and the young men with Duchenne. We haven't changed the natural history of Duchenne through therapies at the moment. They are on the horizon, but the reality is our kids have gained 10 years of life expectancy from improved quality of life, so improved clinical care, people really looking after their hearts, their lungs, better equipment, and that's what Duchenne Foundation is about, is improving the quality of life for all boys, rare girls, and young men and women with Duchenne. So as much as we want to invest in the cure for the future, it's important to invest in the lives of the boys.
Your bones, and I will try to fix you.
Please support the Duchenne Foundation. and help people like me.